Turnover!
What is up, coaches, cheerleaders, and warp spawn? Guess who's back? Back again. NoBribe's back. Hey everybody, this is Bigfoot. He's the star of today's episode and the Rocky Mountain Rampage, which we're going to be talking about. Now, just a little bit of space, bro. Okay. On the Friday night preceding the Rampage, we played Death Bowl. For those who aren't familiar, Death Bowl is a 4-player variant of Blood Bowl. You get to blitz each opposing player once a turn, so 3 blitzes, and there's 2 balls, which I'm not going to make a joke about. The packet supported purchasing skills and star players, so it was destined to be as hyperbolic as Blood Bowl can possibly be.
Alright, ball handling. You notice that you're going to get points for just about everything you do in this game. So you pick up the ball, you get a point. You hand off, you get a point. You pass, you get 2 points. So watch the score sheets, be keeping track. You can do all the scoring after your turn if you need to, just to keep the game going, because it is only an hour and 15 minutes. In the order you finish is the order you get to choose where you sleep tonight if you're staying at my house.
In terms of team spread, we had a couple of repeats in the form of Dwarf and Corn. Then we had a Skaven, Shambling Undead, Chaos Dwarf, Black Orc, Old World Alliance, Tomb Kings, and Goblin player as well. The top table in the final round ended up being Shambling Undead, Skaven, Black Orc, and Dwarf. After multiple rounds of dueling bombers and the odd runaway touchdown, we had our winners.
Alright, so an announcement. Rob gets the runner-up.
Yeah.
Thank you. And champion, 3rd year in a row, Terrell! Nice job. No dwarves next year. No dwarves.
Have our Death Bowl 7s champions, technically 8s, but we're calling it 7s. You want to introduce yourselves and say how you did?
I'm Rob. I got runner-up.
Terrell, you got the championship trophy.
You seem familiar for some reason from that one.
3rd year in a row.
Cool.
It's my first time.
What were y'all running?
I played Skaven.
Okay. What kind of skills and stuff?
So I took 2 throwers, 2 blitzers, and 4 gutter runners, all with block.
Okay. Wow, that's straightforward. What you got?
I took dwarves. Had to go again with dwarves. Did a Mighty Blow Troll Slayer, Sure Hands Blitzer, and a Sneaky Death Roller.
So what do you think is the key? If someone said, in a couple sentences, how do you play Death Bowl?
My favorite thing is the key to Death Bowl is the amount of blitzes that you get. So just making the most out of all 3 blitzes, getting your fouls in, just do as much damage as you can, and then try and sneak in goals where you can, at least from a bash perspective.
From my perspective, it was run away. And keep running away until you score.
It didn't stop you from getting 7 touchdowns?
Yes.
7 touchdowns, wow. Oh, all right. Surprise question. If you're trying to take down somebody, would you hit them in the eyes or the groin?
The groin.
Yeah, the groin.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you fight fair, you fight to lose.
There you go. We have the expert advice, and everyone take that advice and roll with it. My game 1 went pretty well overall, and it would have been nice if the remainder of the evening had gone that way, but I was able to get some stuns, get a lot of knockdowns, kind of harass the ball a little bit. There were some aggressive attempts to score here, and I was able to mess with those. My game 2 was against the most stacked table I've ever faced. I was up against Bryan Tew, Brian Hopkins, and TJ. And I knew sitting down it was going to be a good game. The highlight of this game for me was my thrower got sacked and the ball bounced onto my Tomb Guardian. My Tomb Guardian, after I'd spent my reroll, managed to dodge out and rush into the end zone to get a touchdown. So that was kind of fantastic. Definitely what my plan was the entire time, and I'm glad it worked out. My game 3, I was incredibly tired by this point. I had been traveling, and I hadn't had a full night's sleep for several nights, so my brain was already turning off, and I was fully aware of it. So I fully committed to going straight forward to see what happens. So everyone was a little standoffish in positioning, and I decided, you know what, I'm going to guard the balls, and people have to come to me, and maybe I'll get to punch somebody. Not so much. I spent a lot of time on the ground. I had to kind of split up my forces, and yeah, we got farmed a little bit this game. Overall, Death Bowl's a really fun variant. I don't think it plays like any other version of Blood Bowl, really. And depending on the dynamics of the group you're playing with, I don't think 2 games will ever be the same, even more so than regular Blood Bowl. But it was a really fun event.
First of all, welcome for all of you who have come from other states or traveled in. We actually have representation from Arizona, California, that's close, Colorado, Nevada, Idaho, Michigan. There we go. Anyone else? Layton. So thanks for being here. By the way, raise your hand if this is your first Rocky Mountain Rampage. Raise your hand if this is your first Blood Bowl tournament. I want to give a huge shout out to Seth. This is his office. Thank you for hosting us. Big round of applause for Seth.
38 coaches headed to Orem, Utah for the main events. The format was really similar to a lot of the West Coast events, which I believe this is actually the original event that the package was based out of, in that you could buy your team and use the gold pool to purchase skills and stat ups as well for your players. You're only allowed 4 of a particular skill and could only stack 2 skills. Grabbing a star would jump you up a tier and reduce your build total. As far as the logistics of the event, this is how it should be done in my opinion. There was a projector on a big screen at the front of the room. There were table numbers. The projector also had the remaining game time on it. So everything was very clear. It saves a lot of questions that might have to be asked. And finding where you're supposed to be was a snap. One of the big twists for Rocky Mountain Rampage, you always have good weather, but the kickoff table is completely unique. And it's themed around Bigfoot interfering. There are a couple results in particular where Bigfoot himself takes the pitch, which Bigfoot miniatures are provided, and that would be a theme in my games, but we'll get to that. For entry swag, we got a turn score and reroll markers and some dice. Let's look at the team breakdown just as soon as I can find my headphones. They keep disappearing. The team spread was overall pretty diverse. We saw 4 of Orc and Old World, 3 of Necromantic, Tomb Kings, and Underworld, 2 of Dark Elves, Elven Union, and Vampires, and there's a bunch of singletons mixed in there I'll just let you look at on the screen. In round 3, your top 4 tables were Underworld versus OWA, Slan versus Orc, Underworld versus Gnomes, and Orc versus Imperial Nobility. Going into round 4, the top 4 tables were Underworld versus Imperial Nobility, Orc versus Underworld, Slan versus Gnome, and an Orc mirror match. And the winners of the glorious trophies were...
We're going to start with the most double skulls for the tournament. Goes to Stefan. This is the Dirty Player Award. This goes to Jones. Best Painted goes to Matt Sparks. We now have Best Defense. So this goes to TJ with 2 touchdowns left. Best Offense with 11 touchdowns goes to Rory. Okay, most casualties goes to Steve. We got the best stunky. All you brave souls. Terrell. Third place. Kyle. Second place, runner-up, goes to Max.
Here's a quick little peek at Max's roster.
I'm really happy for you. I'm gonna let y'all finish, but Bigfoot is one of the best Blood Bowl players of all time. Of all time.
Anyway, and the Rocky Mountain Rampage 2024 champion,
Steve Campbell!
All right, we are here with our Rocky Mountain Rampage first place. You want to introduce yourself?
My name is Steve, aka Kilowoggy, if you know me from Bothdown or World Cup Report podcast.
Yep, heard the name before for sure.
Yep.
Nice. What were you running today?
Imperial Nobility, first time actually playing them. I took a little different build. I took the bodyguards, 2 with guard and 2 with frenzy, and everyone thought I was crazy, but
Yeah, apparently
it seemed to work out.
Yeah. Wasn't too crazy.
No,
Seeing your matchups and stuff from today, is there anything you would have done different, or do you think you would have stuck with it?
I made a couple of game mistakes. Like I filled up a hole that I should have pushed the gutter runner into,
Right.
so he couldn't score, which made the last game much closer than it probably should have been. But I mean, other than that, I just kind of play it as things go, and things lucked out.
Nice. You have any advice for new players, or maybe people who want to attend tournaments but might be intimidated?
There's nothing to be intimidated about. I mean, tournaments are the major way that most people play anymore. Not most, I guess, but it's the most fun. It's a great community, tons of people to hang out with. I flew in from Colorado, people flew in from Michigan, a bunch of other places, can't remember.
All right. Here's an important question.
Yes,
The ethics of turn 16 fouling. Where do you stand?
it's part of the game. Especially in a tournament, you know, it's
Yeah.
not going to affect anything. And in a league, especially if you're fouling, you know, a good player, that could come back later on in playoffs or something. So of course, do it.
So the debate has been settled. No one can ever contest it again?
For me anyways, yeah.
Thank you for the words.
Thank you.
As always, congrats to all the winners. As for my matchups, first up I was against Max, who destroyed me, then graciously took second place. Last year the top 3 at this event were separated by 1 bonus point each, so it was pretty much at this point that I decided to start purely going for casualties. I got most cash last year as well, and I figured why not go for the run back on it. Round 2, I was playing against Lon with his Elven Union. Longtime viewers might remember Lon from my old skill series videos about passing skills in particular. I'm going to shout out and link his channel in the description where he reviews every werewolf movie, for better or worse. Round 3, I fought one of the other 3 Steves that were there. This was his first tournament and he bravely took vampires. He made some great scoring plays and I managed to table him by the end, including killing a couple regen units more than once. Hopefully this won't be the last we see of him at events. Round 4 was Kin with Elven Union. We had a great time with my cash count being kind of low in the first half, but picking up in the second. The last game of an event is often the most relaxed when you aren't at a top table, and this was no exception. We were just laughing and making jokes the whole time. If you want some more in-depth details on my roster and matchups, check out part 2 of my Rampage coverage. Wrapping up, as always, the tournament was really fun. Brian's one of my favorite TOs for Blood Bowl. Just runs a smooth event. The logistics of how everything was set up, nobody was having to ask what table they were at or whatever. It just worked out perfectly. Utah is beautiful. If you're ever in Utah, ask Brian to give you the tour. Anyone who's watched one of my other videos, I am changing the format. Basically, any of my matchup experience stuff or my sort of vlog-like elements, including my food reviews, are going to be buried in a part 2, which can be as long as I want it to be. I'm trying to keep these main coverage videos shorter. People really like that. The algorithm likes that. It's just kind of better situation all around. So we'll see. We'll see how this format likes. If you like this format versus the other ones or whatever, let me know. I've been streaming on Twitch a lot under NoBribeFoul. Same thing for TikTok. If you want to show any support on any of the platforms, it's really appreciated. People who like, share, and sub roll more 6s. From the looks of it, I'd say Bigfoot's gone to bed. He did want me to tell you to keep on watching.
Turn over!